Take out debt, max out debt, rinse and repeat. I can remember clear as day when I was 18 years old. I had just began my college career. Almost immediately in my mailbox, I received applications for credit cards. I remember specifically it was Discover and American Express, I believe. I almost immediately activated those cards, and I think the limits were a couple thousand apiece, which is kind of surprising for someone at 18 years old. I immediately went out to a car stereo shop and maxed out one card by buying all sorts of car stereo equipment for my car. And I remember putting it all in and being so proud of it, and it sounded so awesome. And I never thought twice about maxing out that card. Never thought twice about it. And I started making payments on it, and I forget how long it even took me to pay off that card. And basically that's how I lived my life for the next 25 years. Take out debt, max out debt, rinse and repeat. My parents never had a lot of money when we were growing up. We were a family of 6, and we had a nice house and things, but my parents, they never had a lot of money. And I knew that as a kid. A lot of the arguments in my household were around finances. And you would think that as a kid that would click, and that would make somebody then in the future when they have their own money hold on to it like grim death. But what it did to me instead was any money I had, I was excited to spend it because my parents didn't really have money to spend. So I continued that cycle for most of my life. I'd make money, I'd spend money. And if I didn't have enough money, then I would take out credit card debt. My parents' financial problems had an impact on me, but not the impact that I wish they would have. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I'm sure lots of you guys out there have had financial problems. I think all of us want to do better than our parents did. And I think all of us also want to make sure that our kids do better than us. Sometimes it takes hitting your own financial rock bottom to wake you up, just as it sometimes takes an alcoholic or a drug addict to hit their rock bottom to wake up and make some changes. For me, my financial rock bottom was in 2019, I bought a second car, a car I've always wanted since I was a kid. At the time that I purchased this car, I took out a loan for it. But in my head, I thought to myself, well, after all of my expenses, I have this much disposable income every month. I can afford this car. And also, in a few months after I take out the loan, my child support will have ended. So it's kind of a wash. That logic is terrible. And that logic, I think, plagues a lot of people. And I feel very fortunate that that was my rock bottom. And luckily for me, my rock bottom wasn't me going broke or going homeless or not being able to put food on the table. My rock bottom was I bought a beautiful car. But then I realized I had 2 car payments. I had child support that was still going to last me another 5 months after I purchased that second car. And I suddenly was back to having no monthly disposable income. And as if my phone read my mind when I purchased that car, that's about the time that Dave Ramsey started popping up in my YouTube feed. I started watching Dave, and that's what sent me down a massive financial rabbit hole. I'm so thankful for that. If I had not bought that car, I would have never had that instant regret that I felt the moment that car got delivered, because I was like, oh my God, this car is awesome. I can't believe I got it. Oh wait, I can't believe I got it. And then bam, Ramsey pops up in my YouTube feed, and I start listening to him. And I was like, son of a bitch. I knew what I did was wrong, and sure enough, it was wrong. I had other credit card debt. I had another car payment. it just all clicked within an instant of what I had to do. I'm so fortunate, again, that that was my financial rock bottom, buying a car. Everybody needs to find their financial rock bottom. If you're in a position where you're in debt, you're living beyond your means, you have no disposable income, you most likely need a financial rock bottom as your wake-up call to make some changes, like I did. Hopefully for you and anybody else out there, the financial rock bottom isn't something detrimental to your life. Was the car detrimental to my life? No. And that's where I'm fortunate, because it wasn't. It didn't put me in a position where I couldn't put food on my table or put clothes on my back. It put me in a position where I had to make a decision about the course that my finances would take going forward. And luckily for me, I was able to realize that, and I came across Dave Ramsey and also some other finance YouTubers that helped to show me the path that I needed to take to right size my finances. And I'll get into my path on that in a later video, but my point of this video was to share my experience with my own personal financial rock bottom and see if anybody else has had the same instances in their life. Have you hit a financial rock bottom that was your big wake-up call? Was it something small? Was it something big? Did it set you back dramatically? Did it put you on a path forward? What was your rock bottom financially? What did you do to crawl out of it? What was your plan? How did you achieve your goal? Luckily for me, I purchased that car in very early spring of 2019, and I was able to, because of my income at the time and all my child support ending, I was able to pay off that car, and then from there, I paid off my other car. So by the end of 2020, both my vehicles were paid off. I had no child support at that point, and I was able to save pretty much everything I had minus expenses and create my safety net in the beginnings of my emergency fund. But it's funny how that buying that car was my wake-up call. It was my financial rock bottom. And I look at that car at least once a week. It sits in my garage. I think since I purchased it, I've had it for, 6 years now? I've only put like 3,500 miles on it. I love that car. It's like my baby. It's fun to take out. A few times a year, we take it to cruise nights at the local park up near me with a bunch of other cars, drive around town on a nice day. But I look at it, and I kind of just shake my head, and I'm like, man, if I never got you, then I would have never been able to wake up and save my finances and get in a much better spot. I know that a lot of you have bigger financial problems, much bigger financial problems than I had. But I hope that you do understand the need for a financial rock bottom and are able to use that as your wake-up call to kind of crawl out of that dark financial pit that just eats away at your stomach every night, because I know I was eating away at mine. It's a terrible stressor to have financial problems looming in the back of your head when you go to sleep at night. I had those problems for decades of my life, and buying that car and hitting my financial rock bottom took away those nightmares and made me financially whole again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys soon.